Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to introduce you to the forecast function in Excel, and I'm going to show you how it can be used to interpolate data from tables without using any sort of complicated equations. Let's take a look. What we're looking at here is a table with two properties of air, density and specific heat, as a function of temperature. What we want to do is to perform a linear interpolation to find the properties at a temperature that is not found in the table. If you're not familiar with the concept of interpolation, you may want to check out a video I created on the topic. You can find a link in the video description. So what you could do is just use the linear interpolation equation shown here. In this case, we know the properties of air at 200 degrees as well as at 250 degrees. However, we don't know the properties of air at 225 degrees. So you could just use the interpolation equation as is in Excel. Unfortunately, and as you can see here, this process is somewhat tedious. In addition, the equations aren't very easy to look at as formulas in Excel. Let's take a look at how we could use the forecast function instead. The purpose of the forecast function is to calculate or predict a future value along a linear trend by using existing values. Before we take a look at the different arguments in the forecast function, I want to make a quick note. In Excel versions 2016 and beyond, the forecast function has been replaced with the FORECAST.LINEAR function. Having said that, these two functions have the same arguments, and the original forecast function is backwards compatible. So, in order to avoid saying forecast.linear, which is quite a mouthful several times, in this video I'm just going to stick with the original forecast function. Let's take a look at the arguments in the forecast function. The first argument is the data point for which you want to predict a value. In this case, this is our known temperature. The second argument is the dependent or array or range of data. In this case, our dependent variables are our known properties, density, and specific heat. Finally, our third argument is the independent array or range of data. In this case, our independent variable is our known temperatures. Now let's take a look at an example. In this case, what we want to do is to determine the density and specific heat for a temperature that is not listed in the table below. And in this case, that's 225 degrees. So let's take a look at finding the density first. We'll call our forecast function. The first argument is the temperature that we are interested in. The second value is our dependent variable, which in this case is our density. The third and final argument is our independent variable, in this case our known temperatures. And that's it. Now let's do the same thing for the specific heat. We'll again call our forecast function. We want to know the specific heat at our known temperature. The first argument is our dependent variable, in this case specific heat. And our third and final argument, again, is our independent variable, in this case our known temperatures. And that's it. So hopefully you can see the forecast function allows us to perform a linear interpolation in a fairly easier manner. And in fact, it's much simpler than entering the equations in manually. Alright, I hope this was a good introduction to the forecast function in Excel. Thanks for watching. You can find me at David Calamus on Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If you liked this video and would like to see more, subscribe below.